Hi, everybody. It's Dr. T again, and I'm back with another amazing client interview from one of our rockstar clients who has gone through the Live Your Potential program. And I just wanted to say again that because we get so many questions, you all will email or you'll private message and make comments asking about the program. And because one of the most difficult things that I hear is that people feel like it's too good to be true, that you could be struggling with something and just want to be so much better in your life, and you feel like you've tried everything and it isn't really possible for you. And so I like to share, my amazing clients with you, and they're willing to share their story in order to be helpful. So I just want to acknowledge and introduce Andrea Saracen, who has recently finished the Live Your Potential program, and just thank Andrea for being here with us today. And Andrea, why don't you just, to kick us off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your life.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I am a 50-year-old wife and mother of three beautiful girls, 27, 20, 16, and I have a 27-year-old stepson and an amazing 2-year-old grandson who brings a ton of joy into my life. I've owned and operated a childcare preschool center for the past 20 years. We're having our 20-year anniversary this year. In 2012, I went back to school, I guess feeling a little unfulfilled in my life, looking for something else, and decided to go back to school for video production, which turned into event planning, event production, and kind of like all or nothing person that I am, decided to take that to the next level and do something bigger. So I've been doing that since 2012 or so. It's more like, I guess what I noticed is all three of my career choices have led, or actually just prove that I'm a people pleaser, because I'm able to use my gifts and talents, but in the end, it was always about making people happy and bringing joy and connection and fulfillment to others, but that left me tired, empty, and alone. And everybody kept telling me that it's lonely at the top, get used to it. And I needed to figure out the truth behind that, because to me that concept is unacceptable. And turning 50 was a wake-up call for me to say, do I want to live the rest of my life this way? And just deciding that there's got to be a better way.
Absolutely.
Led me to the program for sure.
And Andrea, so I want to cover some and learn more about some of the stuff you said already. But just because we've got you, why don't you? Because you actually have an award. You're an award-winning CEO, really, of some cool stuff going on. So if you want to just tell us about because why not get the plug, right?
Okay.
Tell us about your company and your school, just so we have that.
Okay, I live in Milford, Michigan, and our school is, I guess, rated the best of the West. We've gotten that award for about 15 out of the 20 years. The People's Choice Award. We have, there's just different kinds of, I guess I could look at my wall, but we also won the Governor's Quality Care Award for the state of Michigan. Over and over, it just kept happening where it wasn't even, it was automatic that we would win, and I just never really believed that myself, though, Yeah. So, but we have about 150 children, about 20 staff, and I manage the curriculum and the inside, behind-the-scenes stuff, training for the staff, and just all the administrative things. So I kind of am the visionary of the business, and
so that's exactly what I wanted to connect to, is that for everybody to understand that so many of our clients are really super successful, but then there's ways in which they have some suffering, right? I call it like successful but suffering. There's ways that when you're not living your full potential as a person, no matter what it is, you don't feel fulfilled about it. So you can all see that Andrea, has the kind of life that everybody wants, and she's living her passions and in so many ways. But, for anybody that isn't feeling emotionally successful, right? That's a different thing. And so, Andrea, you were mentioning already about some of the things that when you came into the program, some of the things that you were wanting to shift for yourself, and some of the things you even recognize. You talked about people pleasing and shifting that for yourself. But go ahead and share with us, right? What were the things that were what were the things that you really wanted to change the most for yourself, or the things that you were struggling with? But either way, they're kind of the same thing.
To get off the cycle of the chaos and the stress and being reactive instead of being proactive, and realizing that my procrastination led to dumping everything on everybody, and then I can use the excuse of, well, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and use the excuse that, well, if I only had enough time, and I would beat myself up over it afterwards. And even though it would turn out really great, the outcome was awesome for everybody, but it wasn't for, the people I kicked along the way, and me especially. So, giving myself the pat on the back when it was actually successfully awesome at the time, and then the next day I would feel this remorse of, well, I could have done better. Yeah. And so I wanted to get off that cycle of just being on that stress mode, and constantly expecting others to read my mind, or expecting others to do exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and just living under that stress. And that's one aspect that I definitely wanted to change.
It's like where you say you some of you may relate to this. You're accomplishing a lot, but you're feeling really miserable. You're accomplishing it through a lot of stress patterns that are happening, right? A lot of frustration, and then not liking that experience for yourself or about yourself, right?
Right, and it wasn't joyful doing it. What was I doing it for if it wasn't something that I said I loved doing this, but yet stressed out the entire time. And then what do I love? The little teeny tiny increments of moments that were awesome. And so I wanted to live my life instead of having 90% stress and pain, which I was living in forever. I would just repeat over and over, why do I have like little teeny tiny bits of joy in my life instead of, more joy and less pain? So looking into that and figuring out, what is that all about? And
one of the things I really remember the most, because I really am focused on what it is that everybody is wanting to achieve in the program. And what I loved so much, Andrea, was that one of your biggest reasons for just up-leveling yourself overall and transforming yourself was you wanted to be more connected to people, right? Versus just doing things and doing tasks. It was really about the craving for connection and meaning and all of that.
Right, and I got really, really good at connecting other people with other people. I was like the matchmaker in business and, relationships, and, oh, look, they're friends now because they both worked here, and I got to connect them together. I was just really good at making other people happy and throwing parties for others that were extravagant and beautiful, and looking around and seeing how everyone else was so happy. And I was left completely empty, eating the cake in the back room by myself. So that's like the opposite of what I really want. I wanted to enjoy it as well, and I just knew that something was missing, and it was the connection. I would almost avoid people. I'll do this for you, and it was like a way of avoiding, I guess, connection, because it was transactional. And then people saw me as the giver, the doer, the generous one who just came to me for whatever they needed, and I could shoot it out there and they would be fine. And then I'd be bitter, resentful, and kind of left by myself.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, Andrea. And again, for everybody to know, no matter where you are in the spectrum, if you are struggling in the most extreme anxiety and depression, or addictive patterns, or whatever it is for each of you, if it's not where you want it to be, that's all that matters. If it's not feeling the way that you want your life to feel, and you're not getting the nourishment from your life, that's what matters to each person. So I really appreciate, each client has a different thing that they come in with that is important to them, and they're unique people, all of you are. and their journey is so beautiful and wonderful that that's why I wanted to share, more of them with all of you. So Andrea, what do you think? So there's, people that are wanting to do this transformation, they've been through a lot. And you and I had that discussion. I was cracking up in some ways. Andrea was listing out, she's a driven person, all the things that she had done to really be the most highest level version of herself. That's her personality, right? To really self-actualize. And you were listing out all these things that you had done and what your results were and where they'd gotten you. And so, Andrea, what was it that even though you were skeptical, what was it that made you decide to come to the program?
Because I just, like I said, I turned 50 and decided, I wanted a better life for me and my children. And we kind of joke in our family that there's this family curse that we just don't have connections, and that's just the way it is. It's a family curse. It goes generations back. Well, my mom didn't really have many friends, and she was the doer and the people pleaser, and grandma and aunt Margie and my sister and my daughters. And then when I see it in them, it just made it just clicked for me. No, this is not acceptable. And once again, there's got to be a better way. So it just made me decide to do something. It's not really radical. It makes sense. It's something that I just took the leap and really wanted to be a better person for me, my family, and my community, and the people that I want to touch, move, and inspire. And it's important to me that I'm doing it in the right way, where it's fulfilling for me as well, instead of me feeling empty. So,
yeah, I was so impressed because, so many people that we talked to, Andrea, when you were just saying, I've done these things, I've all of these open-ended things that are, I feel like I've worked on myself, and there was that frustration about, I still want to be more at the top of my game. And I really just had so much respect for that. Like you said, that willingness to say, no, there's more that I can do to work on myself. And I'm going to see it as a real transformational opportunity, right? Rather than feeling like I have to work on myself. It was really that you wanted to develop yourself so that you didn't really have to work on yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
Gotcha. Okay, so Andrea, let's just talk about your experience in the program and what that experience was like for you.
Okay. At first, I was kind of really open-minded and really okay, I'm going to do this, and expecting, this was the surprise, I guess, expecting you to tell me how to behave or what to do. This is what you need to do to change, and give me a list, and I will do that. And it wasn't like that. It was do the work, listen to the modules, do the inventories. Just uncovering so much through the inventories really, really, really helped. But like I said, at first I was kind of irritated. Oh my gosh, now she's going to make me go to the doctor? So I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that either. And I realized module 4 or 5, I can't remember, but living as a child, basically. And I was stubborn, and I was resistant. And although I was open-minded, like I said, I wanted you to tell me what to do. So yeah. I did the work, and it just became so clear to me that, oh, okay, this is how it works. And just got it done, and I feel great. And
I love it. Andrea's talking about, it's really funny because, everybody comes in with whatever they're sort of used to, and we're combining our superpowers together, and whatever types of expectations are there. What we all know, what we really do with the program is focus on, we know the outcomes that somebody wants. I know it was very clear on the outcomes that Andrea wanted for herself. And we set it up so that it's so you can do so much of it on your own with our support and guidance, but really become that expert on you, but also the expert on how to be an expert on you. So not only is Andrea's really talking about, not only did she get to learn, but she got to learn how I do this. And now she knows exactly how to do this for herself, for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So, and I love, one of my favorite things is that we want, like you're being very, very direct and honest with what you're saying. That's what we so love about everybody. This program allows them to be exactly who they are and makes it even better and easier. Mm-hmm. Right? So not everybody in every moment of the process is jumping up and down, but it's people like you, Andrea, that are like, okay, I'm committed to go through the A to Z experience because you're focused on what you want at the end.
Right.
So, Andrea, what were some of the things that were... So let's first talk about some of the things that you learned. What are some of the most important things that you learned about yourself, or learned about, feeling good, or really, what are the big takeaways for you?
I guess being able to set my intentions clearly with myself first, and then carrying them out to others. Because if I just expect, them to understand the intended outcome, they're not going to, unless I'm clear with myself as to what the intended outcome is, and living every situation, everything that comes up in my life, I can put that first. What is the desired outcome? And what does that look like? What does that picture look like? And then getting there, I can either take let's complain about a lot of things first, and then let's, blame people second, and then let's, do tasks third, and then we'll see if the desired outcome is what we intended. But it's not like that now. I pretty much go from the situation to the desired outcome like that. And I never used to. I can make decisions clearly. I can make good decisions clearly. And people are left happier, including myself, because it's clear. And I can go from, a terrible, terrible situation, look at the facts, look at the desired outcome, and connect those two. And it's easy. It's automatic now. And
this is big, everyone. This is so big because, again, Andrea, you were already somebody that was, like you said, you get stuff done out of everyone in your world. You're that doer. You're that accomplisher. And so that can be even interesting, right, for everyone to even recognize that they could be even better in their leadership when you're already somebody that produces things and facilitates things. And so that was really powerful, that you were wanting to continue your success and grow it, but it was all about actually making it feel successful as you were doing it. Mm-hmm. And not having all of these not enjoyable experiences along the way. So I just want to say that is what an incredible aspect of living your full potential, Andrea. What you just said, that you can make a decision, you can connect to your outcome, make your decision, and just get those steps there without, if I'm understanding, a whole emotional journey going along with it, which makes it heavier and feel like work.
Right, and cut out the drama and get to the desired outcome, and it's faster, quicker, easier. I can do other things that I enjoy instead of living in the problem, living in the story behind it.
And Andrea, you were really, really incredibly willing to let go of all of that. And for some people, that is really scary to think about. This sounds really foreign. Like, I would be able to just make a decision and get there and not go through all the emotional, overwhelm. To me, were really willing to let go of that. What else would you say about why that was true for you? About how, because when you applied something and implemented it, right, it was done. So how, or even how, there's that question, and then how is it not to have all of that stuff going on?
Oh, it's great. Even with my husband, he has constantly tried to give me business advice, and I'd be like, stay out of it. It's my deal. But I can take his advice and take it to the next level and try it out. Before I wouldn't it's just been really easy to communicate with him, especially, and other people in my life. That to me was difficult because I don't want the pain. I'm sure he doesn't want the pain. And to just take it without the drama, take the advice or whatever we have to say. If it's talking about our children or talking about, our future or whatever it is, I was always on the defensive, and now I'm listening, and I'm just, it's more clear to me what's going on here. So
I'm just so happy about that. I love that. When I think about all the different goals that you had, and then what's happening all the way around in your life, because you were so willing, Andrea, to really make that effort to become effortless. You were willing to apply yourself, right? And so right. I love to hear these different pieces that are happening in your life. And what would you say about everyone else that are around you, right? That now you've developed, and as you mentioned earlier, shifting into emotional adulthood. Andrea was mentioning something about that. That's part of our program. She shifted into emotional adulthood. What's that been like for other people around you, and situations and things like that?
At first, they were expecting me to have the drama and the stories and things like that, and now it's just clear, and it's just a lot less painful. There's no pain, actually, in communicating with others. So they've experienced me in a way that works for them, and it's helping them too. They're absorbing what I've learned, and my kids, my husband, and I didn't really bring up the program a lot to my husband. He can just see the changes. Even the other day, well, what is it that you're doing? And I'm like, it's my full potential. That's what I'm doing,
Right.
And it's just been really great. Bringing the tools that I've learned to my staff. And we had a staff meeting the other day, and several people did not want to attend the staff meeting. And I chose that I don't want them there then. If they're going to be cross-armed and not collaborative and irritated that they're there, it's a beautiful day, what are we doing here? Then I really don't want that in my life. It's not that I'm going to fire them. They're great employees, but I just want people that want to collaborate. So we decided to make this, committee chair type meeting. And so the people that didn't want to be there, they aren't committee chairs. So They were able to just not go. And we had one of the best meetings ever because it was the people that wanted to be there. And we had a little exercise, and I told everybody to go around the room and collect anything that was magenta. And so they're like, what is she doing? I collected all these things that were magenta and put them on the table. And then I said, okay, well, while you were looking for magenta, how many green things did you find? And how many yellow things did you find? And they're like, none. You told us to look for magenta. And I said, well, we can also use that for celebrations in our life. Look at the positive and be looking for the positive, and just kick aside all the things that don't bring you pain or bring you joy. Just keep magenta on the radar. Keep your happiness and your positivity and things to celebrate. And that was one of the things that I loved most about the program is the calls, because we were able to discuss our progress, our celebrations, and always look for them. So now they're always on my radar. I have something to celebrate. Like at first, I was kind of, I don't know if I have anything to celebrate today. Oh, great. And then by the Friday call, I'd collect things to celebrate so I could talk about them. And then I had like 9 things to celebrate. Okay, let's phone into one. So now it's all the time where I'm just celebrating everything. So
this is so great, Andrea. I am loving the impact that you're making, just being you, right? It's removing all the stuff that isn't you, letting really the truth of who everybody is get to be shared and expressed. And what's so fun is also to see with each client, how they apply things in their particular life and with their particular self and spirit and personality. And Andrea, one of my favorite things about you is, because you're right, we do these calls and it's all also about the strategies. And each week where you would share a new way that you applied your new development as a person in some cool, interesting strategy in your life that was designed to just make things better, make things happier. And it was really, really outcome driven, which was so great. So that's also part of the fun. Like, you are already a natural strategist. That's who you are and what you do. So taking this stuff and then like making your own unique way of being strategic with it has been really cool for me to see.
And cool for me to feel. So.
Yeah. And Andrea, when you're talking about, our live coaching component, and I think that's great that this piece has been so important for you, especially for all those of us who are so dedicated and hardworking, and we're caring about so many things. And then the practice, Andrea, you're talking about the practice of really conditioning yourself to enjoy whatever progress you've made as a person, or to choose something to really give yourself that fulfillment and nourishment. And I was definitely especially proud of you for how well you begin to be able to do that. Right? I mean, yeah. And I really look forward, like, what's some interesting, cool new application that you brought to your life?
Yeah.
That's very cool. And so Andrea, so if I'm understanding, and this is really good for everybody to know, when you said that, you don't need to go around announcing to everybody that you're changing as a person. It's not necessary. You can, and it's exciting for a lot of people. But one of the things that you're making really clear here is that when you're changing from the inside out, that the announcement is is the way that you're being and existing now. And how fun was that to know you were aware of all those shifts you were consciously making? How fun was it for you to kind of see what was happening in people's responses to you?
Oh gosh, it just made a big impact on me wanting to even learn more and uncover more and do more and just be content with all of it in the process, and no struggles.
You all hear that? No pain. Pain is optional. Struggle is optional. This is where people get started to think this is too good to be true. So you heard it from Andrea. You heard it from Andrea, right? It really is that fun. You really can accomplish things in life. Andrea, this part is interesting. Well, let me finish my sentence. You can accomplish things in life without being driven by stress and pain and fear. And so, Andrea, I don't know, were you on one of our calls where Stephanie was saying, I don't feel any pain or anything, and I feel like, is this wrong? Is there something wrong with this? Were you on that call?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. So, Andrea, maybe you can explain a little bit about what it's like to you have to some degree, but that's really something that you can truly be existing, focused and productive without being in pain, stress, and fear. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how that is for you?
When strength-based emotion, I guess, okay, let me start over. Yeah. When I'm faced with something stressful, I immediately recognize it as something stressful because it's going to happen. But I'm also immediately able to shift into choosing a different story or a different outcome of the situation, using the strength-based tools. And being able to shift quickly is it's just automatic now. So
that's another great thing for people to understand who have struggled in a lot of different ways, and like so many of us have felt automated in our reactivity to things, right? The overwhelm, the irritation, the frustration, can be very, very automated. So even when you tell yourself, which I'm sure, Andrea, you would say that, you told yourself over the years to do something differently, right? But those pieces were automated. So it makes sense what Andrea is saying for all of us, is that in all the effort that she did, that now what is automated, and having witnessed this was so amazing to see that it is now that it's automated for you, Andrea. Tell us what is automated. So you check in, you see what you want, what the outcome is, but you know, when somebody's being a certain way, when there's emotions, like when there's all kinds of stuff, what does that feel like to you now? When there's all the typical stuff that's overwhelming for most of us, especially with you being a businesswoman, a mom, a wife, you've got a big family. What's it like for that to be automated for you to respond the way you want to?
What's it like? It's great. I don't take on others' reactions as an attack on me, and I'm not responsible for the reactions of others, just like they're not responsible for mine. I don't get defensive. I'm listening better. I'm realizing that they're coming from a place of their relationship with themselves, and it's not all about me. It's not something that, they're not attacking me, and I have to see, angry people or just situations that people are on fire about. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute here. It's not about me. Where before I would be crying in the corner, like, oh my gosh, they don't like me, And now I'm able to hear them and to hear what their needs are and what's going on here. And instead of taking it on as they must not like me because they're attacking me. Right. That answered the question a little bit?
Yeah, it's really powerful because, Andrea, and you said about no pain and no struggle, it's not necessary. Does that mean for you that I recognize the process you go through, and I feel like you're really conditioned at this point? Is it that powerful for you at this stage that those things are going on around you and you don't feel them in some physical way, right? You're not feeling the overwhelm of them. Like, do you feel like you've created a resistance to all that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
An immunity? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
And not making decisions based on fear, worrying about what they'll think of me, or, feeling bad for the person if I don't buy what they're selling, or that would have caused me angst in the past, and I then end up with a million things that I don't want in my life, and deciding through the pain and flow exercise, what is, I want more flow in my life.
Yeah.
And just choosing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just choosing differently and just seeing that quickly. It's just amazing to me how that's happened. And I feel like I can take on any situation and have a better outcome without the drama.
I love this. So, Andrea, what you're talking about is having conditioned yourself through the program. And when you've made those choices over and over, right? At first you were making them, and now those became automated. The same way all the other stuff before that we didn't really know was getting automated into us. We were just doing it over years of our life. I'd love to know that after choosing it a certain amount of times, then, that's a great thing for everybody to know. That's how the changes will happen. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. And Andrea, what would you add to that in terms of what people who will be watching this and they feel like, I've had all these struggles forever, and they just can't imagine it happening that quickly for them?
Oh, I would just say that we are the powerful creators, and the power has always been within us. And uncovering what's blocking that is fairly easy. That can happen in 12 weeks by this program. Doing the work and just paying attention to the subtle shifts that you notice, and then adding strength to those. It's like, oh, I noticed I just did that, and then celebrating that, and then adding to that by being that another time in the future, and then again and again and again, and pretty soon it's automatic. That's kind of what I was trying to explain. It's strength conditioning. It's strength based instead of fear based. Making those decisions, using the tool, catching it, checking in with yourself all the time. Feeling, what do I feel like right now? I'm uncomfortable in this situation. Then asking the questions, why? Why am I uncomfortable in this situation? And then figuring out, okay, the feng shui of my room isn't quite right. Change it. This person's reacting in a different way. Okay, don't take that on. Just being able to check in with myself all the time.
So freaking powerful. And Andrea, what you're saying is another cool thing, in that that's where the fun is, right? You're gaining all of this, but then I love to watch our clients then put their special twist on everything. And so what you're saying, Andrea, is right. You'd figure something out, then you'd be like excited for the next thing, and you'd be like, oh, then you'd find another piece of it that we aren't even training you on, and then it's so amazing because each of you then add a whole bunch to the whole repertoire for an entire group program. And it's because it's bringing this beautiful uniqueness of what the program is and who you are. And then it's like this great, like that's Andrea's version of up leveling this, all of this stuff. And then everybody gets to know that, and that's what's been really great. So many people have learned so much from how excited you would get with like a success, and then like you just amp it up to the next level.
Right.
Yeah. We call it stack it on up, right? We upgrade it. So a few more questions, Andrea. So we've touched on quite a bit, but is there anything you would say was the most surprising thing for you in terms of what came out of this experience for you and how it benefited you?
What's surprising, I guess I didn't realize I was so stubborn.
I did.
Surprising, just how I felt a connection right off the bat from you, from your team, and knowing that you really do care about each individual client. That is, I'm like in love with all you guys. It's like amazing how I looked forward to the calls. I loved the calls. I was surprised that I would like that, because it's like, oh my gosh, Tuesday and Friday for 2 hours. I can't do that. And then it was like, I would be like looking forward to it so much. And everybody around me knew, don't bother me between 2 and 4 or whatever the time were. And that was surprising. I didn't think that I would make the time to do it. And it just was so ingrained in my daily routine, the daily affirmations, the celebrations, looking for them all the time, and now seeing them everywhere. I see magenta everywhere. So it's all surprising, and just in such a great way. So
it's so cute, Andrea, because I'm joking with, and I love that, Andrea, that you can own, just calling yourself stubborn. What that really means to me is, Andrea, you're a very powerful person, right? When you are very capable and powerful, what's important is that you can feel safe with somebody that can really match you there, right? Otherwise, Andrea could, basically be in charge of everything. And so it was really important that with that piece of stubborn, it's really that she really does know what the hell she's doing and everything. And being able to be strong to meet your strength, right, in a way that could have any of you who are just really powerful and driven trust that you are safe to grow and learn in whatever areas that, on one hand, those areas are really powerful for you. On the other hand, some of the parts of those can get in your way. So I was joking a little bit here, because one of the greatest strengths for you, Andrea, is that stubbornness is really your commitment and wanting to really no, I know what the hell I'm doing. And that's why I'm so especially proud of you. And I knew it would be that way, that I asked you to receive, to really become a good receiver, right? And that was one of I think the most exceptional things that you did as well, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So stubborn just translated to now into just self-assured and just powerful without it. So what's great is, Andrea, would you say that you feel powerful now without parts of yourself getting in your way of what it is that you want to do anyway?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I'm the powerful creator.
Yeah. So I love otherwise our power can be the very thing. It can just backfire on us. So when we make these shifts, then there's no barrier, right, to moving forward in what we want. Andrea, just recently I thought something was really profound that I think, again, people would say they don't believe me if I say this is the kind of powerful experience that you are having in your life now. But you just went through like you have two things in your life that just unfolded recently, and you came on to one of our coaching calls and you checked in as saying, these things are going on and I want to have you share about it. And you said, and I feel freaking fabulous. And no matter what I'm dealing with, I get to choose that all the way through whatever it is I'm going to focus on. And tell us what those things were and how that was for you, because I think this is something that people really need to understand, that there's not anything that you can't choose what you wanted.
That's right. Okay, I have a 16-year-old daughter who was diagnosed with lupus 2 years ago, and she's a softball star pitcher, and she had to get a biopsy on her kidney and wasn't able to play softball for the rest of the season. And that's what was like super devastating to me, telling her that was going to be the way it is now. And after one of my calls, I realized that I can choose to either be devastated by that, or I can lay out the facts and give her empowerment and encouragement, and you can play in the summer. Whatever is happening now, this is why we have to do this. And so during her biopsy, my mother-in-law passed away. I got a message. My husband was out of town during the surgery, and it was a stressful time for me to have to go through that alone, and that he was caring for his mother. And I got a message that she was passing away as my daughter's on the operating table. So those two things alone are hugely stressful, and to anyone, but I chose not to make it stressful. And dealing with my daughter's recovery and now planning a funeral, it was to most people unheard of, and I should be crying in the corner, but instead I wasn't. I was celebrating the fact that my daughter is going to be getting better. I was celebrating the fact that my mother-in-law was such a gift to everyone and such a light to everyone, that I created these videos for her funeral, and they were just amazingly on point as far as who she was to everyone, and to bring that to everyone instead of the traditional pain of a funeral. We're not going to walk around and be sad and not discuss the elephant in the room, and just listen to the organ music and just kind of
play our parts.
Yeah, play our part in the somber funeral. To me, that's unacceptable too. Why does it have to be that way? So I took it to a different level and created this beautiful event. All of her favorite colors I used for the centerpieces and the linens, and the music that was played in the background, instead of just traditional elevator music, it was just Hello Dolly was her favorite song. So I took that and made her obituary a video out of it, and used pictures, and I just created something completely different for everyone. And it was just like very well received. It was beautiful, and we celebrated her instead of just living in the pain. Everybody was able to say, "Oh my gosh, I remember that," or "I laughed about that," and she was just such a joy, and everybody was telling their stories, and then to watch it and see everybody laughing and enjoying themselves, and knowing that what she brought to us, and I was able to display that in a way that was just non-traditional. So I even had the smiles on a stick, because she would always bring out her little smile on a stick and have just make a joke out of everything. If I'm not happy, if my smile is not big enough because you're here, and then she would put on her little smile on a stick and just make everybody laugh. That was her thing. So.
Andrea, do you have your smile on a stick nearby?
Oh, gosh, no, I don't. I just don't.
I don't. Okay. I should have prepared.
But it is beautiful.
So, this was great. So, Thank you for telling us about this, Andrea. So, everyone, I think this is just a really amazing example of what Andrea's shared with us about how the power of emotional conditioning and emotional strength building and intention and choice can make it so that even though our culture conditions us that we should be in pain in certain areas in order to be bonded, right? Something like a funeral, that's a way of bonding and actually what is supposed to be bonding on some emotional level. And that's supposed to substitute as care and love and connection. And I think we've all been to enough funerals, right, to know something that Andrea really got, quite easily and understood to make her celebration this way, is that our favorite part of funerals for all of us is always when we start talking about the funny stuff somebody did or great memories and things like that. And when you are able to be someone that really just puts your focus on all of that, then you can actually be connected and honoring and loving someone without needing to feel in pain in order to honor them. And Andrea, don't you think that's a pretty powerful thing?
Oh, it is, and it's not that I wasn't sad, and it's not that I don't miss her. It was coming from love. It was just a different way of showing up, and it's making it beautiful. And like I said, the videos are very impactful, and it's been fun.
Yeah. So everybody take that as a sign, right? That, because I know some of you in this group have lost people. You're going through a lot of grief, and our culture teaches you to really stay in that grief and go through processes with that grief. And Andrea is really teaching us today that you can apply this methodology that she learned to really anything in order to really enjoy every moment of your life, which is why we call the Live Your Potential program. There's not a moment you can't make it the way you want it. Okay. Andrea, let's just end with me asking you to share what you would say to people who feel, they feel intimidated about trying to change. Maybe they don't believe this can work for them. They think they've tried everything else, and they're afraid to do something different and even invest in themselves. What would you say to that?
I would say that this is the best investment I've ever made in my life, and I've made lots of investments. So it is definitely doing something for me for a change. Even though I've been to other, community empowerment kind of seminars and groups, and just checking out different kinds of therapy and things that I thought would work for me. And this is the only thing I can say that really has truly worked for the rest of my life. And it was the best investment I've ever made. And it's not intimidating. It is the staff and the team becomes your friends, and you can feel the love. And like I said, for each individual, they see your struggles, they see the end result, they see the success, and they hear you. And that was one of the things that I felt misunderstood most of my life. I felt, even though I have awards on the wall and degrees, and I always felt that nobody takes me seriously. So it's a program where you are taken seriously and you are healed from the inside out. And it's something that it's the best. I think one of your videos was, what kind of master's degree should you get? Oh my gosh, this is the best thing, because you can carry it with you everywhere you go. It'll help you in every area of your life, everything. And that's a powerful thing that I can.
Thank you. And how about for people that feel like it can't, Andrea, for people that feel like they're too damaged or it can't work for them and their struggles have been going on too long, what would you say to them?
Well, what did I say to you on our first call? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a mess. I didn't realize I was such a mess. Whoa.
When you filled out the form, you were
like, oh my gosh, look at it, it's all on paper now. So yeah, it seems scary to just put it all out there, but we're not a mess. God did not create us to be a mess. We have power within us that can only be strengthened through this kind of transformation. So
I love it. That is so, you reminded me when you said that. You said, oh, I never filled out. And anyway, it was great. I knew exactly where we were going to end up here. So, Andrea, I want to thank you so much for sharing yourself with us and our team and being a part of our lives and just feeling like we're just family now. And
oh yeah,
you know how much I love you, and thank you for doing this for everybody that that wants to know what's possible for them. And so, for any of you that have questions or comments, make the comments under the post, the video. We'll answer them. And if any of you feel like you want to have a conversation about what is possible for you, then I'll put a link where we can set up a time and we can just get connected on that and see what might be possible for you from where you are to being able to live your full potential as a person. Thank you.